Hello and welcome inside our award-winning locker room show sponsored by your Hampton Road Chevy dealers. I am Adam Winkler. Megan Plain has the night off. As we enter our 13th full weekend since sports were shut down, our locker room shows, they've evolved into follow-up Fridays. We will rebroadcast feature stories from years past and follow up with the subject or subjects in the piece for a present-day update. Here's former News 3 reporter Mitch Brown's story from February 2019 on Sika Henry, who hopes to be the first black female pro triathlete.
Sika Henry's path to triathlons didn't start with a bike or a running trail.
I grew up doing just about every sport you can think of.
In high school, Henry was a competitive swimmer for 4 years, but then she had the urge for a new challenge.
In my senior year of high school, I wanted to switch it up and try a new sport. I always wanted to try track and field, and I fell in love with the high jump.
And that one season turned into a walk-on opportunity at Tufts University and an award-winning collegiate career. So how exactly did a high jumper end up running distance races?
And I grew up right outside of New York City, and my family and I would go into the city and we'd watch the New York City Marathon every year, and that's something really big that my grandpa and I used to do. So I always wanted to try one. It was kind of like a bucket list thing.
A bucket list bullet point turned into a new passion. From there came marathons, 2 of which she's placed first in. And then came the tall task of taming triathlons.
I went to Dick's, got a mountain bike. I signed up at the local aquatic center and started swimming. And 2 weeks later, I did the race and I came in probably last place, but I loved it and I wanted to do more.
Professional African-American triathletes is a rarity. Just 0.5% of the sport's population is people of color and even less of women. Sika is hoping to be the first African-American woman to go pro in the sport.
I've always had this competitive drive and I've always wanted to see how good I could be at something. I thought it'd be cool to hopefully be the first.
While she strives to be the first African-American woman to break into the pro-level barrier, Sika hopes to see more people push themselves past their inner doubt.
I think people would shock themselves with what they're capable of. I think the human body is remarkable, and I just think that people should not doubt themselves and give it a try and, focus on their goals.
And take it step by step, because remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
All right, you heard Sika say folks might shock themselves with what they're capable of. We shouldn't have to look far for proof of that. Just 6 weeks after that story aired, Sika was involved in an awful crash during the bike portion of an Ironman race in Texas. She broke her nose, several teeth, and needed 30 stitches in her face. But get this, less than 3 months later, she was back racing and won the first triathlon she entered after the crash. So she was back on the road towards her goal of becoming the first African-American female triathlete to go pro. In her first chance to do so, Ironman Augusta in September of last year, she came within 4 minutes of earning professional status, but still, no quit. The next month, she completed her first full Ironman in Hawaii. So fast forward to this year, and COVID-19 put sports on hold. Her race in Mexico in April, that was canceled. And now it looks like she can't compete again until the fall. But folks, if we learned anything about Sika Henry, a global pandemic or a traumatic crash might slow her down, but they sure can't stop her. Got a feeling there's another follow-up to this story down the line. But for now, that'll do it for this follow-up Friday edition of the Locker Room Show. For Megan Plain and everyone behind the scenes who helped make this one happen, I'm Adam Winkler. What do you say we do it again next week? News 3 at 11 returns with a final check on your forecast after this timeout.